Hello my friends, I'm Sarah. Welcome to Grace in My Space. Today, we're gonna decorate my entire house. If you have missed any of our home renovation to this point, I have 4 months worth of content for you, and I will link it all in the description of this video so that you can see where we began and where we are now, because the transformation is really incredible. When we set out on our home renovation, we planned to do everything that we wanted to do to the house right away, which is a very uncommon and ambitious timeline and plan. But we knew that we have lived in home renovations for basically our entire marriage of almost 17 years. And so we wanted this house to just be done and be able to live in as our kids enter their teenage years and enjoy it. And so we did a lot all at once, and all of it is documented for you in the description. Now, after 4 months, we are at the stage where we can actually unpack our boxes, which we basically haven't done since we moved in August. So let's decorate an entire house. Now let me do a very quick catch up on the construction process in the basement, because the last I left you, this hadn't been completed yet. And the day that this flooring was complete was a game changer. Today is a huge day. The last contractor just left. We've had a contractor from some trade in this house since October, 4 months in. Hey Al, join the party. And the flooring guy just finished the basement and I'm alone. It's really exciting. This is the last step that I have needed and been waiting on to start to unpack. The kitchen is not even close to being done. Don't even have the cabinets. But the rest of the house we can move into for the first time since August of 2023. I have a mountain of cleaning to do. Let's go. Basement floors are a muddy mess, but they're done. Just have to put the shoe mold on. Look how messy it is in here. So many footprints. And I have some fun plans for that built in. We're doing color, doing pops of color in here. Roll them backwards, like just, I want to roll it out. Why do I have to walk it out? Kind of worked. The kids are gonna love these. Oh, she's good. She's a good one. Now here's a quick painting tip. Wait until you see how this built-in turned out with this beautiful color. Now I actually paint better without tape, but on this kind of situation where the built-in is directly up against the wall, I want this to be the crispest line possible, and I know that tape is better than freehanding for that. So one trick for you is apply painter's tape on your transition, and then do a really light brush with the bottom color. So this is this existing wall color. This is the color that I'm going to brush on this transition right here. And it seals the tape in the color that's already underneath of the tape. And then what that does is once you have painted over it with your new color, any bleed through that happened on the tape is already the same color as the wall. And so you don't see bleed through, you just see crisp, beautiful lines, and it's just the best hack. Just do a real light coat, let it dry fully, and then do your top coat. The easiest and most affordable way to DIY and update your home is with paint. And so I've put together a full 58-page guide on how to paint anything like the pros, and it's linked for you in the description if you are wanting some guidance on how to do things like this in your own home. Now, one thing that I tried to do in the design phase of remodeling this house, because we did so much, we took down walls, we completely reconfigured the bathroom, kitchen, upstairs, we did new doors, new windows, basically every room of the house was touched, is I tried to plan what we're gonna use our spaces for. And this space that I'm in right now is a little bit of an odd space. It's more like a passageway to the family room than anything else. So I'm designing it as kind of like a sitting room. And so one of the things that I wanted to do in this house that I didn't have in the last house is have all of my design books in one space. Makes it really easy to access what I have, and they give me good inspiration. So I love just browsing through a design book. And we're coming up on spring, so a lot of my decor today is going to be a little bit spring related. So I've got a lot of greens, and I'm gonna have a lot of pinks. And what I want to do is just add in some functionality and texture with some textiles, really pretty knit blankets, a little bit of pattern style throws. Super simple, really functional. If we need them, we can just grab them off and use them. They're not just for looks, they're for actual use. We don't have things in this house that are just for looks. If I have a pillow, use it. If I have a blanket, use it. And if it gets destroyed, we'll buy another. So I just really like to have everyday items serve as decor. And then we'll pop a pretty statement piece up. I tell you what, when a picture has the need for 2 nails, it's basically the worst thing in the world. I've used all the tools. I've used the fancy tools that allow you to like measure exactly where each hook is. I've done the templates, I've done everything. None of them work as good as when I eyeball it. So if you're also discouraged with that, just remember, your eye sees things that measuring tapes don't, because a lot of times if you measure like from the ceiling down or from the floor up, you got some wavy ceilings or some uneven floors and it impacts your measurements. So eyeball it all the way. I don't show my kids' faces, but you should in your home. It's fun. Now, shelf styling is a fun one. I took this built-in cabinet, we had the painters prime it, and then I painted it this really pretty plum color. I gotta play with the height of the shelving here to fit everything best, but I'm gonna show you some quick tips for how to decorate shelves so that they look cohesive, and it'll be easy and fun. Let's do it. Now, this cabinet has some bowing to the shelf. It's just old, so I'm gonna kind of play into that a little bit and put my heavy things on the sides, because I just don't want any more heaviness in the middle to continue to bow it. So I think it'll work out. I got all these really pretty family photo books. They're just really simple month books, and it pulls directly from your phone so that it only shows you the month that you're looking for. And that way all of your family photos don't just stay on your phone forever. You get a month book. It's really cute. I'll link it in the description if you're interested. But they're also really pretty. So we're gonna pop those up here. Whoa. Don't have that one quite secure. Putting these up here. You know what would be really pretty? I gotta get it. I have these brass bookends. They actually really need some polishing, but for now, they're going up. And by using one here and one here, you're just repeating a tone so that it feels cohesive. And I'm also gonna add in some brass with this tiny little swan. It's a swan. Right here next to my brass picture frame. I'm gonna just rest this right here. I might do some command strips on the back. And then, oh yeah, that's cute. My baby. Don't fall apart on me now. Come on. Okay. How's that look? A lot of me decorating includes standing and staring, so I'll spare you that part. I've got another thing coming, partially because I need a little bit more brass, but also I want to cover this ugly light switch. And I could also change that to a brown switch, which would blend a little bit better with the back. It is what it is for now. But let me show you a couple of design principles. So I have repeating colors. I've got the green here and the green here, green. I have a cascading effect of whites, so I'm going diagonal with my white. And then I also have a little bit of a triangle situation with some of these taupey colors coming here and then down. And I'm repeating the plum of the cabinet in my artwork here and in some really pretty moody mauve hues here. So when you're repeating colors, that's a big deal in making it look cohesive. And when you're bouncing the color around the space, that's another big deal for making it interesting. So I've also done that with my brass elements here, here, and here. And then I'm gonna be adding one more to come. Now, sometimes you really overlook the simple things like finally filling the holes in your ceiling with a vent cover, or hanging bamboo blinds to provide some privacy, also some texture and some warmth to the space. And adding these things feels like the finishing touches that I have been waiting for months. Now let's head upstairs. In our back entrance, I have this really small little space where I can put a simple console table for keys and a dropping point for mail. I added a mirror and just did a really simple back entrance because there's not much space to work with. And then if you missed my bathroom remodel video, I do have an entire video where I shared how I've decorated and designed this entire space, and I will link that for you in the description. I love doing simple things like really classic art in the bathroom. Now let's talk about hanging art in a common space. One thing I always do is I use poster putty, ticky tack, sticky stuff, whatever you want to call it, to ensure that my photos or my artwork, pictures, whatever I'm hanging, stay level. Otherwise you get the swingers. And those aren't any fun. So I either pop it in the center or on both sides. Get a level up there. And then push. Forever level. Now, one thing that many homes have, we're definitely dealing with in this space, are quirky design elements. So this tiny little wall is holding up the second story. And so we couldn't take it out even though it's literally floating in the middle of the space and kind of awkward. When the house was built, we're pretty positive that this was actually an entire wall that the previous owners knocked down to open up the space. So they left this little floating wall and we had to leave this little floating wall. So why not make the most of an awkward space with some really cute artwork, keeping in mind how it flows with the rest of the room. So when you're standing in the kitchen, which is where my camera is currently sitting, and you are looking out, like I would be looking out if I was doing dishes at my island, then this is what I see. I see this area with a lot of different random little walls. I've got this wall, I have this wall, I have this wall, all visually apparent from one focal point of the room, from one standpoint of the room. And so when you're putting artwork up, make sure that what you're doing flows together. So I have wood elements on this small wall, I have black and white on this wall, rather than having like a black and then a brass that are kind of competing. I went with tones that work really well together. Now, once our kitchen remodel is done and our addition is done for the living room, this will no longer be living room space, it will actually be our dining room. And so when I am putting things on the walls, I'm kind of keeping that in mind as well, because there will no longer be a sofa, it will be a dining table. And now that I've moved my camera, you can kind of see that extra small wall that I was talking about. This one I'm leaving blank right now because from where the camera is sitting looking this direction, that would just be a lot of artwork all at once in a bunch of really small awkward walls. So rather than draw attention to it, I'm just gonna let this breathe. And maybe down the road I'll find something that works perfectly there, but for now, just remember, you don't have to put something on every single wall of your home. You can just give a little bit of down space, a little bit of white space, and let it kind of highlight the other areas that you're trying to focus on. We have a teeny tiny little entryway, so making a statement with this beautiful antique piece with the, I think it's soapstone, either soapstone or granite top, I'm not sure which. Probably granite. It's beautiful, I love it. And then an antique piece of art. I love this one, I love the colors. Yellow is not really found anywhere else in my home, but I think it's just the perfect welcoming point right as you come in the door. The staircase is on the docket for some major overhauls. Now today's video has focused on the main living areas, but I have also remodeled the bedrooms, and I've done individual videos for those, which I will link for you in the description if you are looking for some bedroom decorating inspiration. Now the mudroom is particularly easy to decorate because I have this beautiful wardrobe, I have built-in cabinets, I've done this chair rail, I've done these DIY pegs, and so there's a lot of interesting elements that are already incorporated through cabinetry, through wall moldings, and through functional items like this, where I chose to leave the pegs walnut and make them a highlighted design point. And then to go off of that, I've matched the frames above them and brought in more of those brown tones into this blue room to kind of ground the space a little bit. So this was very simple, 3 frames, done. Now I do want to get a different bench in here. I'm not a big fan of this one. The black doesn't go with the rest of it, but I haven't found the perfect thing yet. And part of decorating our homes means that sometimes you just have to wait until you find the right thing. It is so important to have patience in design and in decorating, because sometimes what you have in your head, this is what happens most of the time for me. I have a very specific thing in my head that I want, that I know will work well, and it's very hard to find. A lot of times you have to find it through antiquing, thrifting, Facebook Marketplace, secondhand items, because it doesn't exist in the new marketplace. And so once you've found that golden ticket, then you can incorporate it into your room and finish the space. Until then, you use things like a bench that you already have on hand for functionality, and that's okay in the meantime. Not everything has to be perfect all at once. Now you can see a little peek behind this wall of the old refrigerator. I have been waiting for our kitchen remodel to be done since August, and we are not there yet. We have not had cabinetry delivered. We don't have countertops. We have nothing. We have a floating utility sink in the middle of the room, which is renovation gold. It's like the crowning jewel of my kitchen at this point, because I have a sink and that's all that matters. But I'm really excited to show you the kitchen once it's done. It is the statement maker of our entire house. It's what I based basically the whole house's design off of. Different elements that I brought into the kitchen, I translated throughout the rest of the house. And so stay tuned. Our kitchen, it will eventually be done, and we will eventually have counters and cabinets. And until then, we're just grateful that we have a house. I hope you enjoyed just seeing how I process decorating an entire house all at once. The biggest helpful tip that I have if you are moving into a new home and you have things already is to set out everything that you own in one spot, especially wall hangings. And then you have an overarching view of what you own, and you can process as you walk room to room. Okay, I have this down there, I have this could go here, or this is go here. And if you don't do that, if you leave some of it packed, or if you have it scattered around in different rooms of the house, then it's easy to miss a piece that might be perfect in a specific space. So lay out what you have, get it all over the floor, it doesn't matter if it's messy for a while, and start piecing together where you think the pieces will go best in your new house, because where it went in your old house is probably not where it's gonna fit best in a new one. And once you've kind of gotten through everything that you already own, you might have pieces left over that just don't work in a new space, and that's okay. Sell it, gift it, store it. Maybe you'll love it sometime later, but for now, don't feel like you have to use everything that you had in an old house, especially if you change styles of home, because a lot of times things that fit before just won't fit again. Once you get everything up that you do love, then you have time to assess and say, okay, what do I still need? And go from there. Now, I'm really hopeful that the next time that we come on together, I'm gonna have something really exciting to show you. But no guarantees. I'll see you next time, regardless.